Hi, and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto Podcast. My name's Chris, and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at Genesis. We're going to have a look at blockchain.com, the FTX collapse, and 𝗕𝗄. And everybody should know by now that 𝗕𝗄 is on my list of exchanges that I have concerns over, and has been on my list since about the 7th of November. And I'm joined by JB. How are you, JB?
Very well, thank you very much. I hope everybody watching and listening today are well too. Absolute mayhem in the markets right now. End of structures. Be patient, guys. This will end soon. We're confident of this. Just let everything play out, and we'll take a step back and just reevaluate what's going on right now, because there might be a major move to come soon. Other than that, been a nice day here, nice and chilled out now, happy to be home. Few good things happening here. One key thing I want to pick up here before we do get started, and it's one thing I want to start covering more on here, and it's the fear and greed index, which I don't think gets talked about enough. I like it as a metric. Now we're seeing right now that the fear and greed index is sitting at 30, even though the market is pumping. So we'll go back here 4 or 5 days. The market was not in the best of places. In fact, it'll probably longer than that by the time this goes out. Let's call it a week. And the fear and greed index was around about 26, 27. But the market's now pumped and everyone's getting more fearful. Read between the lines here, guys. How are you today, Chris? What's been going on?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, the market is bubbling up higher than I expected it was going to. And yeah, like pretty much was touching 19K at one point, maybe even surpassed it. And yeah, look, you just have to have a look at what's actually happening in the real world to really see what's going on here. And my opinion is that this is a fantastic level of increase in price discovery, 5.25% at the time of recording the podcast, for the total market cap of all crypto at 903.37 billion. And I just look at this and I just feel this is a fantastic opportunity for big companies, big players, whale investors to be selling their crypto in what I believe is going to be the next sort of really big push to the downside. And we got a few articles that could sort of articulate as to why we kind of feel this way, and these are just the ones that are crypto related, right? We're not going to get into the other stuff in the world, the China property crisis, the rising amount of credit card debt, and debt in general. I think we're heading into some really bad times when it comes to retail investors, and ultimately those whales and big companies that are going to be selling at the moment. And if we continue to pump, they're going to be utilizing this as opportunity to sell, are going to be buying back from retail at super cheap prices. This is kind of what we see in most of the cycles.
Yep, obviously one thing I will touch on before we do get heavily into the crypto talk here was the December CPI numbers came out for America. Inflation rises 6.5% over the past year. Obviously you guys did cover it in the Twitch stream. I'd like to think it was expected. We had a large pump come off the back of it. Just as I like to remind you all, I do put out the weekly events coming out. I've always put that out on Sundays. These things do matter in the space. So, look at the global metrics, everything that's going on here. These kind of things, they do all add up. But was this one priced in? Has this pump happened because of the 6.5?
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're always attempting to price it in, and you can never price something in if you don't know what it is. So we always see some volatility when it comes to price around these events. And there's more events this week, I believe, as well, that have potential to impact the market. So yeah, keep an eye on those. And obviously they're circulated in the Discord, so jump down, link is in the description of the video. It's absolutely free to join. But yeah, if you enjoy this sort of content, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. And we'll sort of get on to the first article then, and that is DCG's crypto broker Genesis. apparently owes creditors more than $3 billion. Source. I don't know why they've put sauce there, like ketchup, brown sauce. What is this? I guess, jokes aside, they've been told this from a source.
Yeah, obviously this is all from Reuters as well, so it's probably the go-to place. I'd like to think it's one of the go-to places for news that you want proper news. I love Reuters; it's a fantastic source. This isn't a rinse and repeat, guys. This is a new podcast. I know we talk about it a lot, but you need to understand why we're speaking about this so much. Genesis owes creditors more than $3 billion. Where is this $3 billion? What's going to happen when, let's say, they're told to pay back this $3 billion? We know what's going to happen, guys.
Yeah, and I think if they don't, well, there's Gemini up the garden path. Grayscale are going to have some difficulties, I would imagine, as well. And they are one of the biggest Bitcoin holders. So look, these are some of the reasons why we believe that we're going to have these lower prices. And yeah, look, we want to talk about them. We want to air our views, our opinions, so you can go away, do your own research and see whether these ideas are positioned well with you. Do they resonate with you? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Do you feel that Genesis, Gemini and Grayscale are going to have difficulties, or do you think the bottom is in, like many are trying to articulate?
Yeah, so we're not saying this for you guys to get bored. We want to keep this content as fresh and as up to date as we can. The reason we talk about this so often is to keep it in here. You need to keep this in your head, what's going on. One thing I will touch on here with the DCG, now it's been said that the DCG is considering offloading parts of its venture capital holdings to raise money. The DCG's portfolio, now really think about this when I do say this next part here, its crypto related projects include exchanges, banks and custodians in at least 35 countries, and they're worth about $500 million here. So 35 countries, these are all inside. Everything that is included in here, so the 200 crypto-related projects included in here, let's say they're not getting their money back. What's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? There's so much that's going to be affected solely by DCG. So what I'm trying to really poorly explain to you here is keep the 3Gs in your head as much as you can. Do not forget what's going on here, because this is massive for the space. And not to instill fear right now, but if you think, in my opinion, if you think what happened with FTX was bad, if it happens with the 3Gs, I feel it will be a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, and I've said it before, there's going to be pockets of non-crypto related business heavily impacted by all of this. And yeah, talking about keeping things fresh, we are going to be talking about 𝗕𝗄𝗪. That was on my list and I got ridiculed for it, but we're going to have a look as to other reasons why we might want to be considering any positions in 𝗕𝗄𝗪. But before we go on to that one, we'll move on, and we've got crypto brokerage blockchain.com lays off 28% of workforce. Again, I just want to reiterate to everybody, what's happening in the real world. This isn't just crypto companies doing this, but they are a big part of it, right? Tech companies and blockchain companies are laying off lots of staff. So just be aware of that. Again, is it a sign that, these companies are having some difficulty? I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, JB.
Oh, I think this is yet again a knock-on effect from Three Arrows Capital. Was it July-ish last year? There was about 150 employees lost their jobs through blockchain.com. We're now seeing a potential 110 more employees losing their jobs at blockchain.com. But obviously, the market is very, very volatile right now. Just because it's pumping doesn't mean they're all safe. Do you know what I mean? It's bad things are happening here. We have forecasted for a while now, joining the Twitch streams in the morning with Nick and Chris, and understand why it is that we're explaining what we do. Just because there's a pump in the market right now does not mean that's us on a bull run. Get that into your head. And it sounds a bit harsh for me to say it like that. There will be a lot of Moon Boys, all over Twitter, Moon Girls also, not to exclude them, that will tell you right now the market's ready to turn. We're on a bull run. Have a look at everything else going on around the world right now. In the crypto space, there's still a hell of a lot going on. Blockchain.com coming out with this news. You'll hear it here first. This is only the first one you'll hear in the coming weeks. I feel there's a hell of a lot more to come.
Yeah, no, I agree. On, I guess, some more positive news, FTX collapse. The crypto giant recovers over $5 billion worth of assets. I don't know where they pulled that from, but yeah, interesting nonetheless. So yeah, it's about 4.1 billion pounds. That may have changed with the way the dollar is performing at the moment, but since it was written. But yeah, look, it's interesting stuff that they've managed to find that amount, but it is just a small percentage of what is missing. And as crazy as that sounds when you talk about these numbers out loud, it's only gonna, make a percentage good, like not everybody's going to be whole again. So yeah, I think it's good news, but I do think that is rather a small amount of what is actually missing.
Definitely is, but there's something in this article here. Now, for those that are listening, I have a massive smile on my face because I find this very funny to read. Andy Dietrich, who is the FTX attorney, told the bankruptcy judge, "We have located over $5 billion of cash, liquid cryptocurrency, and liquid investment securities." How do you just locate over $5 billion? Come on, guys.
Maybe they recouped it back from people that were handed, money from FTX. Who knows? But they found it, and that is what matters.
Yeah.
Maybe a campaign gave it back. Who knows?
You never know. Like so Tom Brady and all the rest of it. These guys were heavily endorsed. Would they feel the pressure at handbacks? You know what I mean?
Maybe, possibly,
maybe not.
Yeah, who knows? But look, when we look back at 2022, the year of crime within the crypto space, it hit a record $20 billion. In crime proceeds in 2022, according to reports from Reuters. So this stuff's really, really interesting. For me, I've kind of said the main thing that is responsible for this, in my opinion, and it'd be great to get your view on it in a moment, JB, but my view is the punishments are just not severe enough or even there at all. When you look back and through 2022 and you see all these bridge hacks and you see projects saying that you can keep 80% of it or 20% of it, just send us 80 back and we won't report you and prosecute you. Basically what you're saying to these criminals is go fill your boots, because you know what, you're never going to see a prison cell for it. You're never going to have any sort of punishment. You're going to get to keep a percentage of it. You don't even need to keep all of it. It's astonishing amounts of money. I think there's been $100 million hacks. I mean, how many millions do you need? I just think that the punishments are just not severe enough. And the other thing that I would say is the regulation, lack of the regulators, the oversight. These individuals that are responsible for that aspect of things should be embarrassed. They should wake up tomorrow morning, or actually today, as this is going out, they should be listening to the Cheeky Crypto podcast. They should be looking in the mirror and they should be asking themselves, did I do a good enough job to protect investors and make this a fair level playing field, or did I fail miserably at my job? And if they answer the latter, then I think they should do themselves a favor and everybody else and resign and find something that maybe they can do or they enjoy doing, because at the moment I feel that we need some real structure, and I feel that we need proper leadership in there. It's kind of my thoughts, but what's your thoughts, JB?
Yeah, so first of all, you'll be absolutely shocked to hear this, but off the back of our last podcast, do you know that not one single person offered me $5 million to do 10 months in jail?
Did they not?
Nobody, absolutely nobody offered me it. Stunned. I digress.
Yeah.
So, crypto crime, we know it's a thing. It is a massive issue right now. We're seeing the collapse of many exchanges, running back to the likes of Luna, obviously before as well. So for $20 billion in 2022, a lot of crime has had to happen for this. Why are they still getting away with doing what they're doing? We know the reason. We need regulations. But one of the key things to pick out of here is transactions associated with sanctioned entities increased more than 100,000-fold in 2022, and this made up 44% of last year's illicit activities. So this is 44% of the illicit activities that went on last year. The people, or whatever it was that was committing these crimes, were already known, they were already sanctioned, yet they were still able to commit said crimes. Then, you know, this is obviously, as we said, it's from Reuters. It goes on and it talks about the likes of North Korea's involvement, Russia's involvement. They're going to be heavily involved, we know that. We also understand that there will be a degree of trouble trying to get any data or any firm proof of what's going on in the likes of these countries with everything that's going on in the world right now. So just be shrewd with everything that's going on. I know it just sounds like doom and gloom and it sounds like a really negative podcast, but it's just really to reiterate that, you know, there is a lot of things going on right now, guys, and it's just good to stay obviously quite alert in the space. We've also seen the volume of stolen crypto funds rose 7% last year, but other illicit crypto transactions included those related to scams, ransomware, terrorism, financing, human trafficking, saw the volumes fall. So all the bad guys in the world aren't doing these big crimes anymore. It's just illicit crypto crimes they're doing.
That's all they're doing. But yeah, all of that's, you know, it's all gone into crypto. Crypto is bad.
Well, somebody tell Andrew Tate he's been doing it wrong because he got caught.
Clearly he's been doing it wrong. If he had done it through crypto, he could have probably got to keep 20% of it. Jokes aside, crypto lender 𝗕𝗄 has 15 sites raided by Bulgaria, by police in Bulgaria, I should say. Interesting stuff, but it's all around an investigation or a pre-trial investigation around illegal crime activity with 𝗕𝗄, and it looks like they've had their offices raided. Basically, a 𝗕𝗄 public relations officer told Reuters by email that the Bulgarian authorities were at least one office, but said the entity only has operational expense-related functions, payroll, customer support, back office. But, you know, we're being told 15 sites. And this goes back to the fact that, you know, 𝗕𝗄 are on the list of companies, lending platforms, exchanges that I had concerns over and still have concerns over. And as much as like it's about reminding you, it's also about like, if I don't talk about it and JB doesn't talk about these things, then people will be asking us, oh, is 𝗕𝗄 okay now? Like, have you changed your mind on 𝗕𝗄? Or is Binance okay now? Or is KuCoin okay now? So let's just keep talking about it, keep monitoring the situations, because not many people are, and we need to be sort of ahead of the curve. And the only way you're ahead of the curve is by monitoring these things, because people forget very, very quickly, and you know, feel safe all of a sudden because the market is green, and that is not always the best way to keep yourself safe. So yeah, look, interesting stuff. But I believe 94 billion has gone through 𝗕𝗄 platform in the last 5 years, and yeah, look, it could be very, very interesting to see what happens. You know, is there a form of, you know, what do you call it? Legal activity, money laundering, and those sorts of activities. What's your thoughts, JB?
It's nothing we kind of don't know, and I know that sounds very obvious to say, but you've been raising this to our attention since we think it was roughly the 7th of November. It's not the only one. Just remember that, guys. It's not the only one. I have fears about a couple of other exchanges also. But what really gets to me right now is the likes of these folk that have got the Nexo credit cards. What happens if, let's say, everything falls bad for Nexo and they fall through? What happens with the credit card debt that comes here as well? Do we know what the solution would be there?
Yeah, no idea. I mean, I guess possibly there's something there. You'd have to check through the terms and conditions, because some of these are done through the likes of Visa and MasterCard, and I don't know whether it falls back on those guys or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But that would really be something to look at in the terms and conditions. Or are they pre-topped up? I've never used a Nexo card. So yeah, look, it's an interesting point, and I don't really have the answer. So I guess if you're in that position, start raising questions and asking, because that'd be a very interesting thing to sort of dive into and find out. And
just remember that you guys are in the position. We keep shouting this to you. You are in the position to ask the questions. You are the consumer. Find out what's going on. We're not spreading FUD. We're not spreading fear right here. Everything is documented online. You can go and find this out for yourself. If you do have an extra credit card right now, I would be checking, what the T's and C's are. What happens if something happens? Look after yourselves with that one.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we just make sure that we're fully aware about what's going on in the space. But outside of that, there isn't really much more to talk about. The market's flying.
I do have one thing I would like to lift the spirits of the podcast with. Now, obviously, we covered Amazon a few weeks ago, but a little bit of horrible news coming out of Amazon, laying staff off and everything else that's going on. But we have seen Amazon partner with 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡 to deliver scalable blockchain solutions. I personally think this is huge. We've seen off the back of it the massive pump that 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡 has went on. I think this is humongous for the space. I think it's a fantastic partnership. 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡, I really do like the project. We know Amazon are a market leader, a world leader here. Two big things going on. Fantastic for the space.
Yeah, and it's a project on my layer one list that I put out on Wednesday. So nice 20-30% pump after the video went out. So maybe people got in on that one. Who knows? But yeah,
it's not the only one. It's not the only one. One other one I did want to touch on there with 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡 also partnered with Spotify. Sorry, not Spotify. Shopify to mint and sell NFTs on e-commerce platforms. So have a look at 𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡 here. They're showing good signs in the space right now. I'm very happy to be reading some of this because I do like 𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗡.
Yeah, they're great technology, really good technology, and they did get a massively positive rating when I did the review on them. So yeah, great project, and it's in my top 5 layer ones for 2023, and we see why. Like literally a day later.
More importantly though, and it's the one question I know every single person watching and listening has stayed to the end for: do we have a bin update?
Oh, you're not going to want to hear it. It's going to be like taking us down this horrible path. So the bin was delivered today.
Okay.
Damaged.
Oh. Was it the second ordered bin or was it the original bin?
It's the second.
Damaged in the car boot sale.
It's the second bin, because the other one obviously ended up at a car boot sale and sold probably for like £2. But yeah, this one turned up damaged, and it wasn't just like damaged. It was like they used it as a football around the delivery warehouse or something. It was an interesting conversation with John Lewis, because obviously, I've been waiting something like 17 days for this bin to come. Should have been 10. So I rang him up today, and basically, in a nutshell, the lady on the end of the phone was like, well, can you take some photos of it? I'm like, well, there seems to be a lot of me doing stuff here. No, I can't take any photos of it. Like, just come pick it up. And anyway, she was like, well, do you want a new one? I was like, well, yeah, I'd have liked a new one like 7 days ago. 17 days it's taken you to get this far, and it's damaged. So basically where we're at is she's organized a new one to be delivered tomorrow. And then she was like, can you contact the courier to come pick up the other one? I was like, no. Like, all I wanted to do was simply order a bin and have the bin delivered. Like, I don't want to be ringing up courier companies and taking photos of stuff. I just wanted like a simple click, order it, it turns up, I unbox it, I stick it in the kitchen, bing bang bosh. Like, I didn't want any of this crap.
Bin, ban, bosh.
Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty much what I imagine the sounds of my bin in the warehouse before being delivered. But yeah, look, this has probably been my absolute worst experience of online shopping. I wouldn't mind if like I hadn't have been lied to by John Lewis. It'll be there today. And it's like, well, 3 days later, it's like, arrived damage. So yeah, it's not been a great experience. Yeah.
If you guys have made it this far though, smash that like button for Chris's bin. If for nothing else, smash it for Chris's bin. Well, I think we'll also like to wrap it up here as well. We've covered a hell of a lot of news, as we always do here. And I will leave you with the usual that if you guys are going to trade a tight stop loss, make great gains, stay safe in the space, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, take care.